We all have that one relative. That one relative that is really good at telling a story, but when they tell the story again, certain parts kind of get embellished a little, maybe slightly exaggerated. How true it is, I don't know, but this is the story as I was told. So, without further ado, I'm just going to call this one The Problem with Stop Signs. Now, if you happen to like this content, yada yada yada, hit the like, subscribe, share, all your friends. And if you want to be extra special, I know I've been away for a while, but hit our Patreon account. It always does give a little bit of help and a little extra incentive. But anyway, back to the story now that I've done all that shameless promotional gathering and blathering about. So our story does begin and take place in a very, very small town. One of those small towns that exist in the rural backwoods of some southern state, kind of Mayberry-esque. There's nothing much to do except hang around the new stop sign, doing whatever teens do, normally just hanging out, talking, doing dares, stuff that teens do. Now, there was this one kid in the group who was a cousin of my cousin, no relation to me, was dared to climb to the top of the stop sign. Now, this is sometimes where the story gets a little shady at times, because the stop sign ranges from anywhere to 8 to 16 feet, depending on the mood of the person telling the story. So I'm going to say it's probably about 8 feet tall. So this kid climbs on top of the stop sign. It's a very unstable, feet on top of that hexagon, very thin, very wobbly piece of metal. When all of a sudden, one of his friends just decides to have a laugh and kick the bottom of the stop sign post. Well, this makes him lose his footing, and he falls. Now, there's a little thing about stop signs. We've all seen it. At the top of the stop sign, normally about 6 to 8 inches, the metal pole sticks up, right before the stop sign stops. Well, let's just say, when he fell, he managed to sit down on top of the stop sign, and he pulled a magic trick. He made the top of that stop sign disappear. Well, the group of teenagers have to go get help because they can't get their friend off the top of the stop sign. And by the time help arrives, they really can't do anything except wait for the paramedics. Now, being in the backwoods in the middle of nowhere, it's a good hour and a half to the nearest hospital. So the paramedics arrive, and since he's about 8 feet up in the air, they can't get him off the stop sign. So they have to cut the stop sign down. And when they cut the stop sign down, they don't have the proper tools to get him removed from this stop sign. So they have to take him to the nearest hospital about an hour and a half away. They load him into the ambulance. Because of the length of the stop sign, they can't manage to close the doors of the ambulance. So they have to start driving that hour and a half to the nearest hospital with the back doors wide open and a stop sign sticking out the back. About halfway to the nearest hospital, somehow or another, it came out that they were going to the wrong hospital, so they have to turn and go to the other hospital, which is a good hour and a half in the opposite direction. So it is now what comes in to be an hour and a half ride now goes into a 2.5 hour ride, and needless to say, every pothole is being felt. Finally, when they do arrive at the proper hospital, the reluctant hero of our story is taken into the ICU and is being prepped for some kind of surgery for extracting a stop sign. We now go to a second character in this story, is the caring mother of our troubled youth. This caring mother received a phone call from the local police officer saying that her son was in a terrible accident and did not give any form of information. So the mother had to drive to the hospital wondering about the horrible fates that had befalled upon her son, unknowing whether it was a car wreck, whether or not he'd falling off the bridge and nearly drowned, whether or not his skull was still attached to his neck. She did not know. All she knew is that she was in a full flight of panic when she ran into the ICU where her son was ripped back the curtain, only to see an 8-foot stop sign sticking out of his butt, where she then fell to the floor laughing so hard and so long that she had to be carried out on a stretcher by the paramedics. Let this be a warning to all of you that hear this. Some stories do get exaggerated, but there is always a bit of kernel of truth in there. How much truth is in this story? I don't know, but it sure is funny, isn't it?
Sure.
Story.
Sure.